Of every type of Pokemon, fire is the hottest. I believe that goes without saying. Man, this intro is bad. So what is the fire type all about? What are the origins of each fire type Pokemon? In other words, why are each of the fire type Pokemon the fire type? And which ones probably shouldn't be? Okay, so we know that fire types have a mastery over fire, but so does man when we stole it from the gods, or whatever you want to believe of how we got it. Fire has always been a huge part of our past, and will be a good portion of our future if current climate trends continue. Well, the fire type is almost an homage to its great destructive power, yet also contains many Pokemon that help create rather than destroy. Just as volcanoes erupt and destroy their surroundings, they bring up fertile nutrients for future generations. And then there's the fire that burns down pine forests, opening the pine cones and allowing them to seed. It's a circle of life at its finest. Fun fact, in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Sinnoh only has 2 naturally occurring fire-type lines, the starter Chimchars and Ponyta. And as much as that makes sense, given that Sinnoh is the coldest of the regions visited so far, it still kinda sucked. And with the mention of Chimchar and Ponyta, we can jump right into the list, which is listed by category rather than Pokedex number. And the first category of Pokemon are Pokemon that are literally on fire or have literal fire on or around their bodies, thus making their fire type extremely obvious. And note, this excludes Megas, we're just going to clump Megas in with their original forms. First up in this category, we have Ponyta and Rapidash. How majestic. Now this is a prime example of Gen 1 design. It's a horse that's on fire. Just imagine the first guy who saw that and thought, oh, I'm gonna ride that thing. I mean, it's crazy enough to ride a real horse, but a horse that's on fire? Come on, girl, where'd you get that idea? But this really brings out the fire type. Its mane and tail and bits of hair around the hoof are ablaze. Why, you may ask? Well, there are a few theories that also apply to other flaming mons. It could be due to its environment near volcanoes. It simply catches on fire. Another possibility is that it produces the heat due to the speed it runs, really getting its heated blood going. Thus, a byproduct is the flames along the body. These flames could possibly also be a way for the animal to cool itself by releasing its own heat. But the byproduct, of course, is it spontaneously combusts. Rapidash seems to be based off of nightmares, along with plenty other mythoses of fiery steeds. And notable, this fire is easily controlled by them. We can see in the anime, Ash is able to ride them no problem after the horse trusts him. Next up are Cyndaquil, Quilava, and Typhlosion. These cute little guys are a shrew, Paka, and a badger. They all have small holes in their body, and known as the volcano Pokemon, these little dudes seem to erupt with fire when they get serious. Well, as serious as a cute little stoat could. Aw, better watch out though, or they'll burn ya. But as to why these animals are inherently fire type, well, I'm stumped. They should be fire for sure, as they have fire jetting out of their body, but any origins relating to these animals really isn't there. The only notable thing is that badgers, particularly honey badgers, are extremely aggressive and dangerous, and have a chunk of skin on the back of their necks that is very dangerous to grab, as it can just turn around despite that and attack you. In Typhlosion's case, it just erupts in flame. Now, presumably, most Pokemon in this category create heat as a byproduct, and either the environment heats them up further, or its spontaneous combustion point is rather low. Now, I keep saying combustion point, but let me explain real quick. Essentially, the object or Pokemon has self-heating properties, or is able to auto-ignite its flammable substance, much like how large manure piles give off mass amounts of methane that in the sun could heat up and eventually just catch fire. Most of these Pokemon that are on fire must release a gas or secrete a solution that is able to catch fire easily. Even vegetable oil can spontaneously combust. There have even been rumors of human spontaneous combustion. I mean, nature is crazy, and when you get into magical creatures with like strange, whacked up genetics, anything is possible. We have glow-in-the-dark fish now. Who's to say in a world where creatures can create electricity, couldn't some of them just use a little electricity and ignite their jet-propelled fuel like a spark plug? Are fire types just bad electric types? Emboar, just Emboar, no one else in its line, have flames on their body. It's based off of a fire pig demon from the famous story Journey to the West, Zhubaji. Emboar is loyal to his friends, much like Zhu. In fact, the Pokédex goes into detail about its fire, and states it can throw a fire punch by setting its fists on fire with its fiery chin. It cares deeply about its friends. It has mastered fast and powerful fighting moves. It grows a beard of fire. And if you don't think that's just the coolest thing, you can leave. Lighting its fists on fire with a flaming beard is mega cool. Magmar and Magmortar are stupid buttheads, based off of a duck, maybe a booby, and a mythical beast known as the Kurura. They are said to live in magma, and really, maybe they should also be the ground type, as magma is molten rock that is under the Earth's crust. Also, because of that definition, shouldn't it be Lavmar and Lavmortar, as they clearly live above ground? As to why they are fire type, well, they have fire on them, and I have yet to see something that's in lava and not catch fire. Heck, even lava catches on fire. Chimchar, Monferno, and Infernape are always monkeying around. Have I used that joke before? It's so hard to keep track. Anyways, these simians are based off of Sun Wukong from the very popular story Journey to the West. Also, headcanon, they are fire type because they are based off of Sun Wukong. I mean, the sun is practically the best fire type in our solar system. Realistically though, they are fire type because Infernape shares many similarities to Hanuman, which is thought to be an inspiration for Sun Wukong. From the Hindu epic Ranayama, Hanuman was granted immunity to fire, and thus can use it safely. As for Litwick, Lampent, and Chandelure, well, I can say that these three are some of the very few fire types that are not red or orange. But being based off of ghostly fire, I understand why they opted to make it a spookier bluish purple. Based on Hitodama, the eastern version of the western will-o-wisps, their fire type comes from the ghostly flame atop their bodies. Will-o'-the-wisps, or its informal name will-o-wisps, is a folk tale of flickering ghostly light that can be seen late into the night, leading travelers to safety or astray. Plus, I mean, it's a candle, a lamp, and a chandelier. Of course it's on fire. As for Darumaka and Darmanitan, while its basic evolution should not be in its category, nor its Zen mode, Darmanitan gains a spot here because of its great flaming eyebrows. I mean, look at those things. Wonderful. Being based off of the Daruma doll in Buddhism, the gist of their importance is this. They are used to set goals similarly to New Year's resolutions. Upon setting the goal, you fill in one of their eyes. Once completed, you fill in the second. And as the new year begins, you burn your Dharma doll and start it all over again. These Pokemon get their fire typing then because of this ceremony. The Zen mode is simply when the Dharma doll is not on fire, and we'll cover Darumaka now anyway, as it's also just the doll when not ablaze. But notably, this thing's poops are flamin' hot, very warm, so much so that some people would use them for warmth in ancient times. Which sounds gross, but it's not that far off from what some people did with cow pies. Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard, and its megas are the classic fire-breathing lizards with a flame at the tip of their tail. The premier, the real OG lizard, the main man himself, Chorizo. It's totally not a dragon at all. Its tail is on fire, like always. And we all know that if its tail goes out, it dies, which sounds kinda sucky for an entire species. What even is their survivability? How did they even evolve to this point with such a glaring weakness? Anyway, we can gather from Charmander's name and the lack of a dragon typing that they are based on the flaming salamander myth. Fun fact, that myth may have been caused by early humans finding logs on the ground, igniting them for a fire, not knowing that a salamander was taking refuge in the log, so when the salamander runs away from its burning home, it creates the myth of salamanders being birthed from flame. Early humans were not the brightest. And later in its evolution we see Charizard with a more draconic influence. And we all know that dragons were believed to have been able to breathe fire. And I'm sure I don't need to explain how a dragon breathes fire. That would get rid of a later video. Also, I'm sure there's also tons of videos about that all over the internet. But speaking of flaming flying Pokemon, Moltres, the flame Pokemon, is one of the 3 legendary birds. Being born of fire, Moltres shares many similarities to a phoenix. You know, the bird from Harry Potter. But did you know that it's also found throughout all sorts of historical myths and studies, like alchemy? Well, in these myths, the phoenix is said to have been a bird that was able to be born from its own ashes. Even the Pokédex entry for Moltres hints to this, saying that if the Pokemon is injured, it can dip its body in the molten magma of a volcano to burn and heal itself. Speaking of the Phoenix, it is such a common myth that there are actually 2 Pokemon based on it, although Ho-Oh's origins can also be linked to another mythos, such as Achialabapa of the Pueblo peoples, as it was a giant rainbow-colored bird. We can also look to the Simurgh of Iranian mythology, said to look like a huge multicolored peacock able to carry off elephants. The Simurgh is also known as the Ember Bird, and was thought to have been so old it's seen the world's destruction 3 times, apparently cheating death by plunging itself into fire. Just like a phoenix. Now on to Marowak, you know, the ground type. But lo and behold, the Alolan form is Fire Ghost. Gaining both Fire and Ghost in Alola is rather odd, but with a bit of digging and reasoning it makes sense for sure. First off, Marowak already looked kind of like a fire dancer minus the fire. It's got the mask, and it's got a stick. Known as the Fire Knife, this tool is used in Samoan dances to show off a warrior's skill. The Aztecs did it a lot too. But did you know that in Hawaii it was only brought over relatively recently? It's a tourist thing. Anyway, Marowak doesn't just get fire, but ghostly fire, which I'll explain in the Ghost-type video. Lastly in this category, we have Fennekin, Braixen, and Delphox, which are based off of Fennec foxes. Now notably, Fennekin doesn't have any fire on it, but its dex entry states, eating a twig fills it with energy, and its roomy ears give vent to air hotter than 390 degrees Fahrenheit. It's like a little furnace. There's a fire going on inside of it. It must be that fire-type Pokemon are able to use non-traditional sources of energy. Instead of being able to eat food, they are able to process wood and other materials, similarly to fire. Then Braixen's dex entry talks about how it ignites its twigs by using its tail for friction, and Delphox uses its psychic powers to control its fire. Thus, its stick is always on fire, thanks to its power of pyrokinesis. All of them are also based on Kitsune Mochi, similar to Vulpix and Ninetails, but more like a witch that was granted powers by a fox. And that wraps up Pokemon that have fire on them or on their sticks. The next category are fire Pokemon, which are fire because of a mythical creature or legend involved. Very common for Pokemon games. Now I know that some we've already mentioned can be put into this category also, but I feel like Pokemon that literally have fire was a better category. So first up on this mythical list are Vulpix and Ninetails. These Pokemon's origins are found in ancient Eastern myths of the Kitsune, a Japanese legend of a fox with many tails which can breathe fire. Ninetails is based more specifically on Kyubi no Kitsune, which means an older silver fox. Believed to be their counterpart, we have Growlithe and Arcanine, 2 fire dog Pokemon known for their loyalty and obedience. I mean, how else could Officer Jenny have so many of them? But under that fluffy warm coat is the heart of a good boy. Just who wouldn't love to give them infinite belly rubs? Stalwart and Stoic can describe these two, which makes sense as they are based off of the Chinese myth of Xia, or in Japanese, Komainu, guardian statues, normally of lions, but with traits of dogs and tigers. They protect the entrances of many buildings and invite good luck. Unfortunately, that's not where they get their fire typing though, just their looks. You'll have to go a little further north to Korea, near Jiexi, and take a look for a guardian statue of the Entei, essentially a fire-eating dog that was said to protect Seoul from natural disasters. Some legends actually depict it almost like a unicorn lion dog. Crazy stuff. Entei is the legendary beast that represents the fire that burnt down the Brass Tower. Friend to children in that one movie, able to run pretty darn fast, and when it barks, volcanoes erupt. According to the Pokedex anyway. I guess that explains why Entei is known as the Eruption Pokemon. Much like the Cyndaquil line, Entei is known to erupt into huge explosions of fire, much like a volcano, minus the lava. And if you take a look at Entei's face, it looks similar to Akagashira's face, a fire yokai. Lastly, it's Volcanion, the only fire water type in the entire known Pokemon world. Volcanion shares many similarities to Growlithe and Arcanine, having traits similar to Komainu and Shisha, particularly the Ryukyuan Shisha, where in legend there was an overabundance of fires. The townsfolk worried about their homes and approached a wise monk. He instructed them to build a great stone Shisha to protect the town and eat the fire. Volcanion's name also implies that it is powered by a volcano, which is a very large source of heat that often creates hot springs that steam up. Hence the water fire typing. But looking back to better Pokemon, our next category are in fact known to be made of lava or have magma inside of them. Slugma and Magcargo both are fire slugs, and Pokemon has always gotten the whole lava magma thing wrong. They just use the two terms kinda willy-nilly, but I forgive them, I'll let it slide. Being made of lava grants them their fire type. Interestingly, instead of blood, Slugma uses super hot magma to circulate its oxygen. Weird, but okay. I can see that for a Pokemon. But I fully disagree with Magcargo's Pokedex entry. Magcargo's body temperature is approximately 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. No, just know, that opens up just a whole new set of problems. I mean, I have so many questions about that. Questions like, what? And how? Not to mention, why? All the questions. Numel and Camerupt, and its Mega. Numel is great because it's one of the few Fire-type Pokemon that is not orange or red. They are based on camels that contain magma inside of their humps. Though I wonder, is it still magma if it's not inside the Earth's crust? I mean, that's the definition. Well, they are also ground type, so I'm gonna say it's correct this time, Game Freak. But I'm not entirely sure how these Pokemon are able to create enough heat to keep the magma inside of it liquid. Magma's normal temperature, while liquid, is anywhere from 700°C to 1300°C, so it's pretty hot. Essentially, 1.5 to 2,000 degree knives. Remember those? I sure wish I didn't. Well, the heat magma gets is caused by the Earth's motion and pressure. So it's now assumed by me that Numel and Camerupt are either very good at squeezing their stomachs, or it has some other source of churning up the magma constantly, some sort of special internal muscles. Magby is not with its other evolutions, as it only has a flame pattern on its body rather than actual flames. Based off of a booby duck, they live near magma, and in fact sleep in it, just like their evolutions. They also have magma-like blood that helps them stay warm. What magma-like means in this case, I'm not so sure though. Possibly like Slugma, I suppose. Heatran is primarily a Steel-type Pokemon that, due to its own intense heat, seems to be partially molten. And we all know why it's here, the molten part. Typically, boiling blood is not hot enough to melt steel. I mean, even jet fuel can't do that. This Pokemon must be insane. Well, it does live in caves, lava tubes and such, and, well, Heatran seems to be more steel than fire. But it is still made primarily of superheated liquid metal. Well, parts of it. Otherwise, it would just be a puddle. A fire steel muck would be neat. Primal Groudon is pretty much the god of the ground. And who makes the ground you're on? Well, Groudon. But in the real world, it's not that far off. Volcanoes create hundreds of islands every century. Adding in the fire type to Groudon by going primal really finishes off the idea that it created the land. In fact, I may say that he should have had fire all along. I mean, it's red. Kid me thought it was fire for sure, but adult me understands that Primal Groudon was the one creating the ground, whereas Groudon now just sorta rules over the land. Much less creation these days. Alright, and the next category are Pokemon that are just based off of normal, plain old, everyday animals, but with a twist. Can you guess the twist? They can breathe fire, or are masters of fire moves. Flareon is one of the original evolutions, and, well, what can I say? It's fire type because Eevee needed a fire type. That's about it. Nothing fancy over here, its origins are pretty weak. But don't write it off just yet. The Pokedex states that if it inhales deeply, that's a sign it's about to attack. Prepare to be hit by flames of over 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Other entries talk about its internal flame sac, which may help shed some light on how Pokemon are able to store their fuel. In fact, Flareon's internal sac actually ignites when it's agitated. So these organs must be fireproof inside and out. In fact, I guess they are heatproof. The Pokemon ability Heatproof is kind of just the default for fire-type Pokemon. They got the same numeric resistance. Torchic, Combusken, Blaziken, and Magby, as I like to call them, are based off of the Taiwanese cockfighting roosters. These chickens kick with no remorse. But other than expert fighters, these chickens may also be based off of the Basan. A Basan is a large fire-breathing chicken in Japanese myth. Yep, so exactly like Blaziken. In fact, some illustrations depict the Basan in the exact same color palette. Orange and red feathers. Torkoal is based off of a coal-powered locomotive, and, well, and a tortoise. It's stated that it battles using energy it gets from burning coal. When losing smoke from its nostrils, it lets off a sound that is similar to a locomotive horn. It's actually like a train horn. Pokemon are silly, but one thing about Torkoal you may not know is that if it is unable to find coal, it will stop moving, and then it will most likely starve in the wild. Next up are Salandit and Salazzle, two lizard Pokemon that really smell. Both meanings of smell in the same sentence. I must be a genius. However, these Pokemon seem to be a bit more poison than fire, as their acid is so potent, it's able to affect normally unaffected types, meaning poison and steel type Pokemon. This could just be because of their fire though, as steel is weak to fire, just not jet fuel based fire. But these lizards are commonly agreed to be based off of the Japanese fire belly newts. Yes, they exist. While not being able to breathe fire or acid gas, they do share the same colors and general shape. But these Pokemon also have salamander influences, which can also point to the fire typing, as well as Salazzle being female only, as there actually are a few species of salamanders that are only female. Tepig and Pignite are just kinda pigs that are red and orange. Now, while Tepig is the lightest Pokemon to learn Heavy Slam, Pignite's Pokedex entry goes into a little bit more detail of its fire generation, stating that the more it eats, the more fuel it has to make the fire in its stomach stronger. This fills it with even more power. Assuming its fire is in a little flame sack like the other Pokemon, we can get an even better idea of how this fire-breathing stuff works. It's almost like a pressure cooker inside of them that they fill with fuel. Now, most animals are actually miniature bioreactors. We take food, break it down into sugars and such, and use that for our bodies as fuel. I feel like at some point along the lines of evolution, fire types figured out a way to just take food, in quotes, and turn it into energy directly. I'm sure most fire types could eat normal food all they want, but some fire Pokemon could probably just eat wood and be perfectly content. Happy as a Clamperl. Pansear and Simisear are the only non-Gen 1 Pokemon to evolve with a Fire Stone, and they are based off of one of the three wise monkeys of Chinese myth, along with Simisage and Simipour. Pansear is based off of the Hear No Evil monkey. Some state that they hear no evil due to the word ear in the end of their name. Pansear. They also have the largest ears of the bunch. Pansear's hand is up by its ear as well, trying to hear you better, but it's sadly deaf. Simisear then may also be doing some sort of sign language with its odd hand placement. But as for its fire typing, it really doesn't draw it from anywhere other than gameplay. You see, depending on what starter you choose, the Pokemon that the first gym will use is different. For example, if you pick Snivy, the gym would use Pansear, which is really cool to be honest. I really wish they did more gyms like that. Larvesta and Volcarona were thought to have once been born of the sun. It may be inspired from the saying, like a moth to the flame. As for which moth it is though, it seems to be based on an Atlas moth. With its bright red colors, you get a real sense of fire from it. In fact, Volcarona has a lot of ties to fire, from being similar to Seraphine with its wing placement and number, to being compared to the sun gods. Even its color palette matches the sun, or tiger lily flowers that only blossom during the summer heat. On the opposite end of the design spectrum, we have Heatmor. It's well, it's quite dumb to be quite honest. It's a fire anteater with a muffler stuck in its butt. I understand why it's a fire anteater. It's made to be the perfect predator of Durant. Heatmor is pure fire, Durant is bug steel. This anteater just like eats the ants so easily. But again, besides that, we don't really get a good connection to fire, other than its ability to breathe fire and its design being similar to a combustion engine. And even then, this lame Pokemon gets its own signature move, Fire Lash. What the heck? Litten, Torracat, and Incineroar are some grade A fire starters, you could say. These Pokemon are based on a house cat, a tiger, and, well, tigers are orange, so fire type. It's good enough for Game Freak. Good enough for me. But in actuality, Litten's dex entry states that it lights the hairballs it coughs up to create a fireball, and then when it regrows a coat, it lights the old coat on fire. This must mean that their fur is highly flammable, almost as if it were coated in sulfur, and, conveniently, the facial marking on Litten is that of the alchemical symbol for sulfur. Neat. I love alchemy. Maybe Incineroar is still fire type because of its fiery passion for fighting strong opponents. There have been worse reasons in Pokemon. Next up is the infamous Fletchinder and Talonflame. Also, take note, its first evolution, Fletchling, is not fire type. Just wanted to clear that up. Now, other than being insane in Smash Bros, what does this line actually add to the Pokemon lore? Well, it's a bird, it's got fire, so it's a phoenix. Well, no. Thankfully, Game Freak didn't make another phoenix. No, these are based on the Japanese Robin and Flame Robin. Look at these little dudes. They're so cute. Little puffballs of red feathers. And, you know, red equals fire. Litleo and Pyroar are normal fire. What? What a typing! What is even normal about breathing fire? I mean, really, isn't normal type supposed to be like, I don't know, normal? Whatever that may be in the world of Pokemon? Well, now that I think about it, maybe they just mean they are less fire than the other fire types. But that's for the normal type video. So if we look at Pyroar's mane and the yellow symbol it forms, we can see that it is similar to the Japanese kanji for fire, more or less. Plus, lions have big, fluffy manes, and that makes them look kind of fiery. So, there's that. This is a normal lion with the word fire written on its face. Houndour and Houndoom, along with Mega Houndoom, are hellhounds, or at least based on them. What are hellhounds, you ask? Well, hounds from hell. You know, fire and brimstone and all that jazz. No, I'm not saying that jazz is satanic, but those slick rhythms just couldn't be made by man alone, now could they? Pacts with the devil aside, these dogs just scream hell. I mean, they have little skulls, devil tails, and demon goat horns. Now, I don't know what you imagine when you think hell, but I think of fire and Miss Lambsby from middle school English class, perfectly explaining these Pokemon's fire typing. Now leaving my scary place, we have Turtonator. This Mata turtle is Dragon Fire. According to the Pokedex, it gushes fire and poisonous gases from its nostrils. Its dung is an explosive substance that can be put to various uses. I guess that's all fine, but it only learns Smog naturally as a poison-type move. But I want to know who's the poor guy that discovered its dung is explosive. Just walking along, not watching where he's stepping, and boom! Landmine! In fact, I'm sure that's what they were going for here with the whole shell design also. A fiery, explosive, landmine Mata. And then there's a jet engine strapped to a dragon. It's Reshiram. We see its butt glow red, and if it weren't for that, it would be the last Pokemon not red or orange on the fire type. Based off of the Yang from the Yin and Yang, Yang symbolizes, among other things, the light. And we all know that fire is one of the most rudimentary sources of light. Other Pokemon that don't fit in any category we've done yet are the inanimate object Pokemon, so I guess they get their own category. Here we go. Cast Form's Sunny Form, based off of a Teru Bozu, or a weather good luck charm that Japanese folks would hang in their homes. In fact, the charms were used to ward away rainy weather, or even bring it, all depending on the variant. This is perfect for a Pokemon that changes forms based on the weather. Now, in this form, Cast Form itself seems to dry out and absorb the heat from the sun it basks in, like a lizard. But unlike a lizard, it really absorbs the sun's energy and can use that to attack with fire. When the electric ghost Rotom possesses an oven, it becomes Heat Rotom, and it's pretty easy to guess why that's fire. Ovens create a lot of heat and can even start fires. Blacephalon is a clown that's mixed with fireworks. You know, the stuff that explodes in fire. I mean, it blows up its own head in an explosion. If that's not fire type, I'm not entirely sure what else would be. But with that, we have just 2 more Pokemon to go. Can you guess what they are? They are the ones that I see no reason at all for being fire type, or at the very least, they have extremely weak reasons. These Pokemon may be better off not being fire type. Have you guessed? So, the first one is Victini. Alright, so I've been dreading this Pokemon this entire video. Where to even start? Sure, everything points to this Pokemon being based off the gods of victory, Nike and Victoria, but nothing points to it being fire typing. The only small little bit of fire we see are in its move pool. Most notably, V-Create, where its ears burn up in fire before it attacks. In fact, both of its signature moves are fire type. But are moves alone enough to make it fire type? I'm not so sure. Oh, here's an idea. It's fire type because winning really gets your blood pumping, and the byproduct of blood circulation is inflammation. And that has the word flame in it. As you can see, it's a pretty weak reason. Really, they probably just wanted another fire type legendary. And this one kind of works, I guess. But lastly, we have Oricorio. Bali style. It's a bird that's dancing in the flamenco dance. Now, it's not totally known where the word flamenco comes from, but it's possible it's a derivative of the Spanish word of flama, or fire. But the other and more dominant theory from linguistics is that the word flamenco came from, or means, expelled peasant. We're not sure though, it could be the other one. But I mean, gypsies danced the flamenco all the time, so it's possible. And unfortunately, that is the only bit of information linking Oricorio to the fire type. But the dance itself is hot, like a spicy salsa. It's hot, so the dance must be fire, so fire type. But like the watered down, crappy chip dip you get sometimes, this reasoning is weak. Really? It's just fire type because Game Freak wanted it to be. The dex states that it beats its wings together to create fire as it moves and steps in a beautiful dance. It bathes opponents in intense flames. But other than the dex, there is not a single bit of indication that it can start fires. This Pokemon does not learn any fire-type moves. Heck, you can't even use Move Tutor or even breed in a fire-type move. You can't even teach it one with a TM. This Pokemon is just a terrible fire type. There is zero reason for a Pokemon to have a type if it can't utilize it at all. Stupid bird. I don't care if you're looking at me with those bedroom eyes. You're not actually hot. Well, do you know a better reason why Oricorio or Victini should be fire type? Please let me know down in the comments. We've only got a few more types to go in this series. Thanks so much to everyone for watching, and massive thank you to our Patreon supporters who let this series keep going. It takes a lot out of us. So, tremendous thank you. Love you all. And as always, please remember to never stop using your noggin.